military headquarters in Berlin, the plot to overthrow Hitler finally implodes.
Stauffenberg's superior, General Fromm, betrays his colleagues in order to save his own neck. He arrests the conspirators. The plot is over.
I first realized that something was going on from reports on the wireless. My mother took us to her room to explain to us that it was our father who had placed the bomb. My brother started crying violently immediately. And I said, how could he have done that? And my mother said, well, our father had thought that he must do this for Germany. But again, you know, I could not understand this.
The price of Stauffenberg's failure will be high. History will be made today, but not in Germany. In San Diego, Roosevelt is nominated for a record fourth term.
That night, from his special train at a Pacific Coast naval base, President Franklin Roosevelt, again chosen to run for America's highest office, speaks by radio to the Democratic Convention meeting half a continent away.
I have already indicated to you why I accept the nomination which you have offered me, in spite of my desire to retire to the quiet of private life. What is the job before us in 1944? First, to win the war, to win it fast, to win it overwhelmingly.
Roosevelt's steely resolve can't disguise his frail body. When Americans see his picture in the paper the next day, many are shocked.
Jimmy, I don't know if I can make it. I've got horrible pain.
Hitler's survival preserves the cornerstone of Roosevelt's strategy.
Hey, turn that off. They need to know they lost. Do you hear me? Huh?
There'll be no ceasefire with the renegade generals. In London, Prime Minister Winston Churchill faces another night of flying bombs and mounting casualties. But what keeps him awake is the tread of the Red Army and the advance across Europe of a tyrant to rival Hitler.
Late at night, Stalin would gather his entourage around him, smoke his cigarettes, and watch movies and newsreels of the great events of the day.
Tonight, it's the parade of German POWs.
This parade sends out a signal that victory is close. Stalin is showing an increasing confidence as the victorious supreme warlord.
When Stalin gets Roosevelt's request for a three-way meeting with Churchill, he turns it down flat.
Stalin had no intention of meeting Churchill and Roosevelt while things were going so well with him. And he was not ever going to let Poland out of his grasp.
In Berlin, General Fromm turns on his co-conspirators. After holding them for an hour, he loses his nerve and orders them shot. Four men are led into the courtyard of Army headquarters. General Albrecht is shot first. Then, it's Stauffenberg's turn. His aide, von Heften, throws himself into the bullets.
When the squad takes aim at Stauffenberg, he shouts, "Lang lebe das heilige Deutschland! Long live Holy Germany!"
We saw him last, early in July, on my confirmation. And he put his, of course now, only hand on my shoulder. He was very much a family man. When he died, number 5 was underway.
General Fromm cables Hitler that the key traitors are dead. Not quite. Fromm will face the same brand of justice. Hitler's wrath will now claim the innocent, the families.
Well, next morning we were told that my mother had been arrested. And my grandmother's brother, who was later tried and executed.
His children are taken from their mother and placed in a Nazi-run children's home, cut off from the outside world.
We were the first to arrive, so the others all came later. About that, all our fathers had been involved, and that was the reason why we were there.
The surviving conspirators are tried in a kangaroo court.
Das Stauffenberg. Und werden Sie hier nicht unverschämt, hier Sie ein Urteil anzumaßen?
In the end, up to 5,000 Germans are executed, most of them innocent.
Im Namen des deutschen Volkes. Ehrgeiz zerfressene, ehrlose, feige Verräter.
The conspiracy leaders suffer a slow death prescribed by Hitler himself, strung up with piano wire from meat hooks. Among them, Stauffenberg's oldest brother, Berthold. Stauffenberg's wife will later be freed by the Allies.
We never knew until after the war that the grown-ups had gone to concentration camps. The worst thing about not knowing what had happened to the family was the isolation. No school, no church, no newspapers, no radio. Simply didn't know what was going on outside our little camp.
If Stauffenberg had killed Hitler, the world would likely have been spared 9 more months of slaughter. In fact, more people will die in the next year than in the previous 5 put together. In the death camps, the ovens burn round the clock. Though Churchill never resorts to poison gas, Germany pays for Hitler's rockets. The Red Army takes Warsaw. Poland is the first of 6 nations to fall under Stalin's heel. The German army fights a final, forlorn battle. The US ultimately defeats Japan without Stalin's help. Within the year, FDR will be dead. Hitler will commit suicide. Churchill will be voted out of office. Only Stalin will prosper and live to create the most brutal empire of the 20th century. The last words Stauffenberg spoke to his wife were, "If I succeed, they will call me a traitor to Germany. If I fail, I will be a traitor to my own conscience."
If you ask me, was he a hero? Yes, I think he was. And I think more and more people in Germany now feel the same.
Stauffenberg's body was burned in the early hours of July 21st. His ashes were spread on a field outside Berlin.
Betrays his colleagues in order to save his own neck. He arrests the conspirators. The plot is over.
I first realized that something was going on from reports.
At military headquarters in Berlin, the plot to overthrow Hitler finally implodes.
Stauffenberg's superior, General Fromm,
history will be made today, but not in Germany. In San Diego, Roosevelt is nominated for a record 4th term.
On the wireless, my mother took us to a room to explain to us that it was our father who had placed the bomb. My brother started crying violently immediately. And I said, how could he have done that? And my mother said, well, our father had thought that he must do this for Germany. But again, you know, I could not understand this.
The price of Stauffenberg's failure will be high.